It started with a letter. No return address. No signature. Just a warning. Then another arrived. And another. By the time it ended, if it ever truly did, the people of Circleville, Ohio, had been changed forever. In a town of just a few thousand, somebody knew everyone's secrets, and they weren't afraid to share them. This is the story of the Circleville Letters. What do you think of that, Meg?
Ness.
Ooh, can you spell it?
I'm not going to try right now.
We were talking,
O-M-N.
I don't know if you heard.
O-M-I-N-O-U-S.
What are we spelling again?
Ominous.
What is it? O-M-I-N-I-O-U-S? Mickey Mouse.
Yes. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. But I don't know if you heard the story yet. Dad was telling me that my niece came home with a spelling test and got like 4 out of 10 or 4 out of 12 right or something like that. Did you hear the story already?
No, but I've seen the spelling lists for these 2nd, 3rd, 4th graders, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So then they had...
And then they have separate vocabulary lists that are even harder.
Yeah. They had our youngest then take said test. Also, for who is a grade older, but I was so disappointed. No one of the words she spelled wrong. I had to put her business on blast on the Yore Town podcast. Pirate. That is the mascot of the school. She mixed up a letter, and I was like... But then they had the middle kid.
Was she saying it out loud or writing it?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I feel like if she had to write it, she would have gotten it right.
Okay. That's either way. But it just made me giggle. So then they had the middle kid who is 2 to 3 years older, 6. And she was like, these words are hard. Like giraffe and I don't know, some other ones. But either way, they have letters. When you spell, this is a letter of letters. That's a bad segue. But either way, the voice you're hearing, it's me. It's Matt. Joining me as always, the beautiful, the wonderful Dun Dun Queen.
Hi.
You didn't do the Dun Dun last episode.
I
Did you know?
I did. I was going to, and it just didn't feel right, and then I was lost. Then there was no place.
That's why you're the Dun Dun Queen. You don't always have to rule with the Dun Duns.
It's a sprinkle.
And it's right. It's right. When it's not, it's not. So how's things? Everything all right? Weather here sucks.
Yeah,
probably
right?
The same in Circleville, Ohio.
I'd like to plant some seeds and hope my lettuce keeps growing, but it's looking like frost coming.
Unbelievable.
It smells like snow in the air.
It's crazy. At the time of the recording, just so everybody who is probably being like, what is snow? Where are these people? Yeah, we're in pretty much Canada is where we live. And it is, yeah, it's almost June. That is correct. It's the end of May. And I guess today, if you're listening to it on the day that this episode is released, it is Memorial Day. I feel weird saying Happy Memorial Day because, yeah, I know a lot of people get the day off, but there's more reasons why we have the day off. And I just feel weird saying happy. It'd be like me saying Happy Christmas. I would say Merry Christmas. So Merry Memorial Day, everybody. Is that a good way to put it? But either way, we have the day off for a reason. If you don't know what it is, go to the Googles and, appropriately spend your day, I guess. Either way, this is an interesting one. We're going to travel back to the 70s. We've done a lot of 60s, 70s. Good music, a lot of crime. A lot of crime, but a lot of those crimes were southern states, Texas, Georgia, Florida, the Georgia-Florida line. That's how they got their band name, I heard, because of all of the murders and, lack of evidence and stuff like that. And I have to imagine something like this will never happen again today. One, I don't think a lot of people send letters.
I was just going to ask that. Do you think people still write handwritten letters? I was trying to explain to the youngest the other day what a pen pal was.
Oh, how'd that go?
And she couldn't wrap her brain around it. But then once I finally got it through to her what it was, then she wanted me to talk to her teacher. Because we used to do like exchanges with other classes in school.
Oh, in the same school?
No.
Different schools?
It was like a program that you could sign up for, and you'd say, oh, I want this class. It could be in another country. And so everybody in the class writes a letter, and they're designated one student from that other classroom, and you pen pal back and forth.
I have to imagine now you would just do emails, right?
I don't know. I still think it's a cool concept.
So, according to the Google search and the AI overview from the Search Labs, many schools still utilize pen pal programs, although the frequency has decreased with the rise of digital communication. Pen pal programs can be beneficial for students in various ways. They can practice their writing, improve communication skills, and learning about different cultures. All right, let's bring it back. I vaguely remember I was never asked to be able to do this, but I do remember growing up that there were certain kids in the class that did the whole pen pal thing. Smart kids, usually.
We did it as like a class project.
Maybe they just excluded me.
And I remember it being from another country, and we researched the country and did like this whole packet about that country. And
what country was it?
I don't remember.
Belgium, probably.
I don't remember.
Bet you it's Belgium and waffles. Belgium waffles.
I vaguely remember it being like 2nd, 3rd grade, maybe 4th. Somewhere in that age range.
Did they call it grade 3? Because then it could be Canada.
I don't remember.
Huh. Well, let's jump into this. Mm-hmm. You ready?
Sorry, got us off track.
It's okay. We're allowed to be on track because we're talking about schools. We're talking about writing. And guess what? Mary Gillispie was a school bus driver. She was a wife, a mother, and as far as she knew, someone living in a quiet, little town. Had a quiet life, small town. She was just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She received and was not relieved to get this anonymous letter, because this letter accused her of having an affair. But not just with anybody. The local school superintendent, Gordon Massey. And it demanded that she stop, or her secrets would be exposed. It knew details that only a stalker could know. Her routes, her routines, and even the color of her house. What? You looked at me like you got questions.
I do.
Let's go.
It's not about the story.
What is it about? The color of her house?
So
I don't know.
You say routes, but you say routine. Why wouldn't you say routine if you're going to say route?
We're gonna have a little domestic on here, ladies and gentlemen. If I am not on the show next week, I want a true crime case, and it's always the wife or the husband, right, that gets questioned first. Making up for last week. And it is ironic that you are wearing a Prison City hoodie from one of our favorite tasting rooms, Prison City in Lake Placid.
We have an ongoing battle about if it's pronounced route or route. I say route, he says route.
Yeah, it is.
But then it would be routines.
It's the English language. I didn't invent it. I just go by what Google and maps and things, and you know what it is, really? I probably grew up saying Canada. Roots. No, we can't blame Canada, because I don't love that when they just throw random U's in words like color, COLOUR. Get out of here. Mustache, they add a U in there, because then I had to go and buy Mustache Mate, the Canadian, and that way. But the Midwest boys, they all made fun of me. Texas boys, the boys of the Body Wrong podcast, the other boys on the Beard Law Studio. When I say certain things, they would get after me, like Logan. Was the word Logan always said that they always made fun of him? Toby and the boys, do you remember? I don't remember, but either way, we're way down a rabbit hole. Correct. I say routes. I'll start saying routines. I say a lot of words wrong. That's what you're going to hang up there? We got a serious situation here.
I'm sorry.
Mary, who had a little lamb, got a letter that she's hooking up with the superintendent of school. Mary just tried to ignore it. But guess what, Meg? Her husband, Ron, he also got a letter. But then guess what? The neighbors got one. Then the school board. This was no little idle gossip. This was a campaign of fear. And the letters didn't stop.
So were all of these letters trying to expose her? Or are they all directed towards the people they were sent to?
You'll have to see. Oh. Because the mystery continues to deepen, Meg. Okay. Because dozens of letters started circulating, ironically, around Circleville. Some accused public figures of embezzlement. Others targeted citizens for alleged affairs, drug use, or maybe even crimes. So yes, it was a ton of letters to people about things that were going on in their lives. This was before everybody just wanted to put their business out there for everybody to see on the old book of faces. And it was interesting. And obviously all of these, you could be the next one. that could just get some of your, what is it, the skeletons in your closet are coming out in letter form. I mean, I have to imagine the people that aren't out there doing dumb things weren't getting letters. You're not getting a letter, right?
Nope.
Because the town, Meg, of old Circleville was shaken. People, they began looking over their shoulders. Mailboxes were opened with dread. The Circleville writer seemed to have a singular goal: expose secrets, instill paranoia, and never reveal their identity. Just when you think it couldn't get any darker, Meg, the summer of 77. August, to be exact. Old Ron Gillispie, Mary's husband, he then gets a call. He told his family he was going out to confront the letter writer. He grabs his revolver. He gets in his pickup truck. What do you think the pickup truck was? Chevy? Ford?
Ford.
It's giving off some Ford vibes in Ohio. I agree with you. Built Ford tough. Later that night, his Ford truck, crashed into a tree. Fortunately, Ron was dead. But guess what, Meg? He fired his gun one time, but not at anybody. His blood alcohol level was reported to be 1.5 times the legal limit. I wonder what the legal limit was there, because obviously now it's 0.08. Don't blow it, at least in New York. I'm pretty sure it's Ohio, too, that they have special plates, or they used to. They used to have special license plates, so if you had a DWI, people knew it by the color of your plate, and I believe they were like the bright yellow ones that New York State went to. Maybe I heard that. Maybe it's wrong. I don't know. But either way, his blood alcohol content limit is pretty up there. And his family and friends insisted it was impossible. You know why, Meg? He didn't drink. How wild is that? Of all of the things, I mean, so he runs into a tree. His alcohol limit is through the roof. And he fires the gun once, but not at anybody. There's a lot of things not adding up in the story, is there? Beyond fishy. Probably the aliens. They were on a route. The sheriff, they rolled in an accident. The Circleville writer disagreed. You know why? They kept on writing. Time passes on like it always does. But the letters, they kept coming. Let's fast forward 1983. Mary, still driving her. What's that?
So that was a great year.
It was all right. I imagine. I wasn't around. I'm not that old. Mary, she's still driving that bus route. That day, she noticed an obscene sign about her daughter that was posted along her path. So she stops the bus. She gets out. She tried to remove it. But something was off, Meg. Behind the sign was a small box, crudely hidden. Inside, a string, a trigger, and a pistol pointed right at her.
Boy.
It was a booby trap, Meg. Designed to kill her. Police investigated. They traced the pistol's serial number to one person. Paul Freshour. How would you say that? Seems French.
Freshour.
Freshour? Freshour. Paul took a fresh shower here.
Sure. I don't know.
Guess the relation was Mary's former brother-in-law.
Whoa.
Right? Paul said the gun had been stolen. He had nothing to do with it. But he failed the handwriting test, just like the kids failed their spelling test. He was arrested, charged, and convicted of murder. What's the handwriting test? Like writing and they compare it, probably?
Yeah. I would assume they would compare it to the letter.
That's what I was thinking. He failed. The letters. Everyone assumed they'd stop. They got the guy, right? Guess what? They didn't stop. So what's that tell you?
Not the guy.
He's not the guy, or maybe there's more than one. Or maybe now we're into copycat territory, right?
Maybe he has a twin.
You think so? But
I don't know.
Do twins write exactly the same, though?
Maybe.
You think so?
I don't know.
I don't have a twin.
Me either. Curious to find out.
Me too. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a twin. You want me to ask?
No, I meant like if twins write the same.
Oh, well, let's ask that. Do twins write the same? You know what it came up? Do twins write to pen pals. Let's see here. Do twins have the same writing? It can be seen that the shape of their writings are only slightly different when the author is the same writer in a pair of twins. Pair of twins have more defined difference for different authors in a pair of twins, although the height of the writings are different. That was confusing. I'm not sure if that's... And they just put yes or no. Interesting. And then right under that it says, do twins write the same with the same hand? Identical twins are more likely than non-identical twins or other siblings to both be right or left-handed. Interesting. You think that they'd be different because one's on one side, one's on the other. Fighting like sock'em boppers. Maybe one's more of a southpaw. I don't think that's how it works. Let's go back to Paul, who probably doesn't have a twin. He was sentenced to 7 to 25 years in prison tonight.
It's pretty wishy-washy.
That's a weird sentence. You're in jail from 7 to 25 years based on good thinking, and maybe you... But I wonder if he had a pen pal. But soon after his incarceration, something baffling happened. Letters kept arriving. They were postmarked from Columbus, Ohio, where Paul was held. The prison claimed there's no way he sent them. They placed him in solitary confinement. They banned him from writing materials. Kind of like Hannibal Lecter, huh? Not allowed to write. And the letters, they still came. And some were actually taunting, while others accused officials of corruption. Some were just cryptic, like riddles. But the handwriting was eerily similar. And the threats, they continued. That's crazy. I wonder though, back in the day when the Megh was born, did a lot of people have similar writing? There was so much writing. Do you think it would be easier to copy handwriting styles? Like maybe in a school, the same teacher was teaching all of the kids that it would be fairly similar?
Maybe.
Or do you think, I just know I can't write my handwriting is terrible. All of my teachers, you should be ashamed of yourself. Maybe they thought I was going to be a doctor, and they were like, we're just going to let this guy go. That's probably it. Anyways.
Yeah, I think too they did cursive back then. Too.
I know, what a dying art. I bet you there's not even kids that can read the cursives anymore. They had to pull the dang clocks out of the thing because teenagers and stuff can't read it. Anyways, we sound old. Paul, he could read a clock and write cursive. He has always maintained his innocence. He served 10 years before he was released in 1994, and he continued to plead for someone to reopen the case. Have to imagine if you're pleading to reopen, you're not the guy. Right? I mean, that's a bold move. Or maybe he just knew that they weren't going to reopen it.
I don't think it was him.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people were left asking, was he innocent? In the 90s, remember the show Unsolved Mysteries? And then obviously 60 Minutes. They actually went in and invested the case. Did it scare you?
I love that show.
Unsolved Mysteries?
Yeah.
Did it scare you when you were younger?
I still watch it.
But did it scare you when you were younger? A little bit?
Not really.
Fair? Me neither.
I mean, we used to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That's different.
It was pretty scary.
Yeah.
But
Unsolved Mysteries were like real. But here's the difference between me and you. Growing up, I grew up in a city. There was a lot of violence and maybe correlations with some stuff. You grew up in a place that there is no lights, no stoplights, no traffic lights, no caution lights.
Rephrase that. We had lights, just not street lights. I mean, I had electricity. I had lights in my house.
I meant like street lights. You don't have any traffic lights.
Correct.
Not a single one.
No. Still don't.
It's crazy. Still don't. Although when the bridge was under construction.
Except for when they rebuild the bridge and bring in the old portable one.
Just like the potties. Portable potties and portable lights. But either way, a lot of people are, Unsolved Mystery brings it up. 60 Minutes brings it up. Handwriting experts, they were split. Some said it matched Paul. Others said it didn't. It's kind of like a weatherman. Unbelievable. No fingerprints were ever recovered. That's got to be hard. Imagine writing the letters that good in a pair of gloves. In the envelopes, no DNA evidence at all. So he wasn't licking those envelopes.
Use a sponge.
He must have. Wasn't one of those smiley sponges. Scrub daddies. They weren't around yet.
No.
There's some speculation. Like we kind of threw out there that more than one person was involved, possibly even a group effort. Others suspected a disgruntled postal worker or law enforcement insider. Some letters did appear to be in different tones with different grammar. I think we should have suspected a potential postal worker. It's a good call, especially back then. It's always a chance of an insider on the law enforcement, though, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, all passed away in 2012. Never cleared. Mary never publicly commented after the trial. Gordon, the alleged lover, denied any affair. Deny. What do you think? The affair real?
I think it was.
I'm thinking it's a small town. There's got to be some kind of truth to some of the rumors, especially if all the paranoia was coming out there. The letters, well, they stopped. At least we think they did. What a wild thing. So what makes the Circleville Letters so chilling? It's not just the content. It's the audacity. Right? Audacity, isn't that a music thing?
No.
Either way, a letter writer who knew your secrets, who could quote your conversations, who watched you. Was it a neighbor, a coworker, a jealous ex? Be a lot of jealous exes out there. So you know what I'm thinking now? Hear me out here. I think it was somebody that worked with the phone company. And I'm thinking he's stalking out there. He's tapping into phone lines, which a lot of phone lines out there. Easy to tap the old RJ11. You just got to clear a little wire, put some clips on there with a butt set.
But back then, too, didn't they have the party lines?
Potentially.
When did they end?
No idea. I have to imagine they're gone by the 70s. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say 50s, 60s maybe. But it's a smaller town. That's my thing. I think it's a phone guy. So let me ask you this. Do you have any guesses on the profession? Who do you think it was? Or do you think Paul was framed?
I think he was framed.
Think so? I think he was part of a group. It
was him.
Oh, interesting.
I do think it was a group.
I think there was more than one. Okay, party lines phased out in the early to mid 90s. They actually carried on well into the 70s, but the technology deemed a victim of progress. And the last one was phased out in 91 in Woodbury, Connecticut. Way to hold on, Woodbury. Man, I don't know. Do you think he was framed?
I still think he was. My gut's saying he was.
All right. Then we're going to go with your gut. That's just wild to think that he did it all alone. The letters kept happening.
Postal worker, that one, that's a good fit.
Yeah.
I think postal worker and a cop.
That's Paul. Is that the face of a guy that would write some letters to a bunch of people and stalk and creep? Yes.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
That seems like a creepy guy to me.
That looks like Dennis the Menace's neighbor.
Did you have like a handwriting in your brain? This is a very unique handwriting.
I did.
All right. Was it like this?
Yeah, kind of.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wasn't picturing that. That's very distinct. A lot of semicolons or colons in there. Interesting. Either way, so you thinking framed, I'm thinking not. But there was a theory that did suggest someone close to law enforcement was actually pulling the strings and orchestrated it all. The booby trap was so amateur, though, yet the letters were so intelligent and precise. What if the gun had just been planted? And there was another theory. This was personal. Revenge. Someone who felt wronged and found a way to kind of poison not just one person, not one family, but the entire town. And there's also the possibility that the true writer was never suspected at all. That's what Meg's feeling. But what's undeniable is that Circleville Letters destroyed lives, marriages, and reputations. They turned a town into suspects. They blurred the lines between truth and paranoia. And they left behind one terrifying question. How well do you really know your neighbors? I'd say pretty good.
So, did they just stop?
They just stopped.
Boom, just like that?
They boom, boom, boom. They were just gone. Weird, right?
After or before he died?
I think it said right around the 90s. Like after the jail and everything like that. So before he died.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for listening to the Yore Town podcast. It was a good time, huh? Yeah, I enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed it, Share it to a friend. Somebody who you'd write a letter. Write it in a letter. Write our link to this video in a letter and send it to somebody and see if somebody is smart enough to type the whole thing in. https://youtube.com/beardless-yore town.
You quit spelling.
Yeah, I quit spelling. There was a lot going on there. I didn't want to sound dumb.
I was waiting to see if you could make it all the way to the end.
I would have made it, but nobody wanted to listen to this. But either way, that's all we got. We'll be back next week with something cool. Still thinking maybe something on the I-5 murders. I got about an hour left of a book that I've been reading on it. It's wild. I got a lot to talk about. Or maybe I'll wait until you listen to it, and then we'll talk about it. Nah, I'll just talk about it. You sprinkle some tidbits and some dun-duns. But, all right. Either way, can't thank you enough. We're out of here. Bye-bye.
Bye.